Okay, welcome back. Sensei Kerry again, helping me out on these videos. We've been asked to go through the Pinan katas. So basically, I apologise if you're not sort of Wado-based kata, but just try and enjoy them. Next thing I'd like to say is don't use these as examples for your grading, because your association might do things slightly different from the association that I belong to. So always respect your sensei. If they mention a comment that you're doing this kata and certain areas might be contradicting what they do, then pay respect to them and do it their way. Yeah. So these Pinan katas are basically around what I've learnt with different instructors, and also I'm finding the rationale between lots of the techniques and the directions and the combinations. Because some of the orthodox movements, or the reasons for those movements, I'm sorry to say, but sometimes they contradict each other, or they don't quite work for me. For me, I have to stress that, for me. So every time I do a kata, I have to try and break it down, and maybe the uki comes in from a slightly direction, or a Mawati Ginan Barai, it's not somebody attacking you from the back. So bear with me. If you want to carry on with those traditional thoughts, then fine. It will not alter the look or the effect of the kata. Kata is sacrosanct. That's not changed. The other thing with the way I do my katas is I will always try and do a little bit of a jiu-jitsu move with them, because that sort of accentuates the timing of your turn and the way that your wrists are moving and the way that your body should be moving. So there's a combination of things, and then there's a lot of people who take small pieces of kata and they use them for fighting techniques. They'll have a variation of the kata in one specific area. So kata is a personal thing. Learn the pattern, but make it your own. And you can always tell people who think about their kata and try and put meaning behind it, because you can see it in their eyes, you can see it in the way their body moves. It becomes a live kata, not a dead kata, not just a dance. Okay, see where it takes us. Okay, so the association that I belong to, and I'm sure it would be the same with lots of the Wado-based groups out there. We always do a Kion kata, which is a very basic one for lower Q grades, maybe just before they're grading, or just to get them in the theme of moving in different directions, but keeping it very, very basic. And the next one we do is Pinan Nidan. Now, Pinan Nidan, actually, ni means two. So we do katas 2, 1, 3, 4, 5. I don't know the history about that, but the way that it's been explained to me is that Pinan Shodan, it's got a maigeri in it, it's got shutos. So those are most probably slightly more complex for somebody maybe taking their yellow or orange belt. So that's why you do it in the order of 2, 1, 3, 4, 5. So Pinan Nidan. Pinan Nidan. Hey! Hey! Pinan Nidan. You need to take away trying to have good Zenkosudachi stance, good Junzuki stance, good Shikidachi or Kibidachi stance, good Nekoashi stance. Your instructors will point you in the direction for those. Also, transferring from one stance to another stance. So if you have your Junzuki stance and you are going to transition into your cat stance, making sure you've turned this foot and it's not sticking out here because you're going to damage your knee. So the transition from one stance to another is important. It plays a big role when you start to do your free fighting. You should be able to move directions, keep your stance, being able to move in any direction, not slipping over or falling over, or keeping your composition, your composure. Your brain should be in control, not your body. So that means you have to keep control of your kata. Once you've got your mind and your body working together, that's brilliant. I'm sure there's a program, martial arts program, about mind and body. Yeah, so worth a look. Also, when you're doing Muay Thai, try not to take your foot across and then turn. Try and make sure it's the whole of the body that's turning, because then you'll be able to stop. You will have your balance all the way through the turn. Yeah? You could have put your foot anywhere. You could have ended up in the wrong stance. If you're using it with your body, you can finish exactly where you want to and be in the right stance. Also, I've seen so many people, when they come to do the Moati Girambare, watch the back heel. That means I've gone this way. Need to be going away from the attacker. So if you're checking some things on your Pinan Kata, check you're not lifting that heel up. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to talk about those moves. So, see so many people, very short, cat stance, hands are here. Really, if you're doing an uke here, it's too late, they've already hit you. So, longer cat stance. Cat stance is a variation of your shito. It's just pulled in by the same amount. So it's a lot longer than you think. Not here, with your backside sticking out. But here. Okay, sensei. So you can put it into a fundamental move. So change, punch, step. So you need to use this as take. Yeah, then through. Not really a big, strong believer in nukte, so you could change it to a fist, or even take the body with it, redirecting in asu. So turn, grab, step back, here. Use your hip and your body. Not just pull in, but hip to pull. And then the same when you come over here. Use, punch, use. So use a combination of inasu and entering, irimi. And also grab, coming over the top. Not just your hands moving, but the whole body. Wish.